So just a quick warning first. This is for educational and informational purposes only, and you are responsible for your own trading decisions. Um, did take a trade early in the morning. Um, Entered right here and got out here. Kind of wanted to hold more, but just got out. My size was pretty big. Um, I'll throw this. I entered here, kinda averaged in. It's breaking out. 855. Kind of wanted to hold a bit more, but my size was big and it didn't close. So maybe this one, maybe here until here. I could have held it. Um, how did I enter? Let's look at H4. I should have let this finish, right? And then this starts at 12. So if we go here, this is 11 to 12. So I entered here, but I think I should have let this finish, right? This ends at 12. So now 12. So if we look at 12, is it this one? Yeah, this one. Which I could have entered here. I could have entered here. I could have I could have entered at this gap. Could have done few things. Could have done few things here. So I think setup is from the higher time frame coming down to lower, and then lower time frame I use 5 minute for the entry. 1 hour would be crazy. Um Entered right here. Entered right here. Stop loss, I think. Don't know. It's a little weird in the apex. Maybe here. Don't know. I think it would have, I have 12 watt. Anything down, it would have stopped me out. My 400 being the limit. So why did I enter this? Just clears all the lows, right? That's one of the things I have been going over in my notes. Clears all the lows, originates from the lower band, engulfs the structure. Uh, this was a new scandal. Um, just I think I could have waited for the bar to close, maybe. Just kind of rushed up here somewhere, some down here, 12 watt, big size. but pretty confident. We take a look at h4, right? Clears all the lows. Engulfs the structure. Let's see where it closes. Another minute. Engulfs the structure. So on h4, it's not originating from the lower band, but most important is clears all the lows, engulfs the structure. Even engulfing is little bit sluggish, but let's see. It's closing green. But I think just engulfing or clears the lows. That is also good enough. Should have entered in my real also, but I'm even thinking for this AUD USD buying. Found a new guy, but I think I had seen him, but he hadn't clicked the way he just clicked now. He said he'll be going live, so I don't know where. Looking at his Instagram, but I don't know where he's going live. Oh, he's messaged live here.
You should be put in with them. Right, perfect, perfect. Yeah, so I'm gonna first talk about indices and then I'll break down Dalian. I actually have an appointment, it's 9:03. I have an appointment around 9:45, something like, it's not gonna be too long of a stream, but I did want to talk about my thoughts on ES and I'm gonna break down Dalian as well and the trade that I took. And also pretty much the overall bias. Now, if you guys were in the Telegram since last week, I was talking about I want to see this actually as a sell opportunity. But again, we'll talk about this after ES and NQ. Now, ES and NQ, number one, personally, if we go to, I always start every single new week when I go to the by the weekly time frame, right? So every single new week, I go through my watch list, pretty much just everything up to here, up to A to DJPY, just ignore the rest of this. And pretty much looking for the marketplace to, can I anticipate the next week of candle? Now, what do we have here on ES? Right, we have the weekly EBP that forms, and I know that there's a high likelihood that we take out this low, that weekly EBP candles low that one. Now when I go to daily time frame, I don't really see any imbalances, but I will say this, this one's gonna be interesting to see what happens because we have been in a market condition where we are right now in consolidation. So typically in consolidation, we get this type of price action, right, where the market takes out range highs, like in here, and then we drop lower, take out range lows, take out range highs. And we do have this gap that was actually not filled on Friday. Friday we had a gap down actually, and the market never rallied up here. I think NQ is a little bit more profound. So I'm gonna be interested to see what's the market gonna do. Like I'm gonna obviously lean bearish because of the setup. Regardless of what I personally believe, the reality is I know over the course of, let's just say, like, 100 trades, the likelihood that this gets hit is very high, right? So it's the same setup on NQ as well. I'm just gonna wait to see some sort of backside structure where, and what does backside structure mean? Now, this is where I'm gonna go into Dollar Yen, because Dollar Yen, I was talking about this last week, how I want to look for the sell, right? You guys saw the trade breakdown, I put it live on my YouTube channel, on the main one. And on the 4 hour time frame, we never got any bearish structure, right? We never got any, like, the market was just rallying higher, right? Making higher highs and higher lows. It was close a strong bullish candle. Typically, when the market is having a little bit of a retracement like this is why I typically wait for some sort of confirmation. And the reason being is because I don't want to be in a position where if I'm shorting here, for example, right? I don't want to deal with this drawdown, especially on the 4 hour time frame. Think about it, right? That means you would have to help this trade from Thursday Asia session all the way until Monday. I'm not trying to do that, right? I am not that type of trader. I'm looking for intraday swings, meaning I'm just looking for the big volatility, like these types of moves, and obviously a little bit more than this on an ideal basis. But once we have the EVP that formed last night, this was essentially the confirmation that I needed. Market had a rally, we dropped lower, and then we dropped further into this candle bar's high, I'm sorry. And then ultimately talked about the liquidity pools below this low, right? Now, this is why it's so important to understand as well, like PO3 and 4 hour context, because just as we look for it in a daily candle, right? I've talked about this concept so many times. When you have the opening price on a daily candle and you're anticipating bearishness, you always want to see the market rally first to create some sort of top wick, and then ultimately have a sell-off, which then creates like the market, which then allows the market to then go hit certain liquidity pools. Now, why does this happen? Because typically when the market is creating a wick like this, it's creating liquidity. The rally up is typically going to either knock out people who have already been short, or it's going to get people who want to look for longs inside the marketplace. It's essentially a manipulation tactic. So when the market has the open, we had the rally higher, and we had the rally higher straight into this bearish fair value gap. Now you'll see that my entry was kind of like right here. It was because I actually missed this. Because I had to, I was pretty much, it was late last night. I was running around doing some other stuff. And when the market was dropping, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna short here. Stop loss was again the candle bar high. Now, if you guys watch the recent YouTube videos, I'm always talking about my stop losses being candle 1, candle 2, and candle 3, right? So my stop loss is typically going to be around candle bar 2, especially because this was the last candle that broke this low. So I'm typically not going to want the market to go back above here. And this is essentially my resistance. I have this very fair value gap. have that inversion on the 4 hour, I essentially have a bunch of resistance over here. So I know that if my stop loss above that resistance, the market should not go up here. Now, sometimes will the market go up there, like take you out and then maybe drop lower? Yeah, well, trust me, I've been trading for 8 years. If the market goes up here, the likelihood that it chops is higher. It's more likely. When the market is bearish, it should be respecting these key levels, and it should not be like it shouldn't really be meandering. Um, I'll show multiple examples whenever they come up in live, but like usually the market, when it's that bearish, especially on the 4 hour time frame, clear liquidity pools, etc., you want to make sure that you're in a position where there's no deep retracements. All right, so yeah, so pretty much you see how we see this on dollar yen. I'm trying to see if we can see that on NQ and ES. Right now, obviously, there's nothing. If anything, there's actually a 4 hour EVP that formed here, as well as on NQ. And then going into the 6 o'clock open, look at that. Right, instead of the power of three concept, we have the open, we have a little bit of a wick inside of this, and I guarantee there's a fair value gap there. Okay. 6 o'clock was right here. Yeah, there's a fair value gap actually did not get filled. I think the fair value got filled on ES. Yeah, ES had the fair value gap. So we had the 4 hour EVP that formed, right? This had a little bit of a bigger wick lower. And you go down to the 1 hour, you have this fair value gap, right? And just like the YouTube content, right? Again, guys, I'm showing you guys this live. Just like in the YouTube content, right? What do I say in terms of the EVP? You want to look for, again, candle, this is candle one of the fair value gap, candle two, and candle three. So your stop loss, I typically would put it around candle two. This right here is a one-to-one scalp. Let's see. If you got in around here, no confirmation, no lower time frame, not even like trying to optimize it. Candle bar two, and then you have right here, that's a 1.5 R, just like I talk about in the YouTube videos. And the reason why I like to preface this stuff is because again, I've had a lot of retards on my on my YouTube comments sometimes. That like again, if they actually put in the work a little bit, they would see how often this phenomenon replays over and over and over again, especially if you trade the ones that do have a little bit of a some sort of a bias with it as well. But yeah, so I'll kind of open it up to questions because again, I really do have to get out of here. In like about 15 minutes because I do have an appointment around 9:45. But yeah, guys, let me know if you have any questions as well. Okay, let me actually go to the chat box. Yeah, okay, let me go over BTC. I'll be honest, this looks pretty bearish. So it looks pretty bearish going into the new year, and then I think 2026 is going to be the year of crypto. So the reason being is because number one, if we look at the monthly time frame, I'm sorry, not that, it was the 3 month, okay, the quarterly chart. So the quarterly chart, every single new quarter is going to be the same concept, right? Everything that I do is based off of like power of three, market structure, and candle structure. That's everything that I do is literally just that. Everything I post in my Telegram. The reason why sometimes those moves are pretty profound and they're fairly accurate is because all I'm doing is I'm staying with trend and I'm following market structure and I'm following candle structure. So what do I mean by that? Number one, we have a potential ABP on the quarterly time frame, right? This is going to close by New Year's. Very unlikely we flip. I highly doubt it. We're probably going to close as a ABP. Now, when you do that, right, we're going to also go into the new year. Stick with me. I know you guys don't want to see a 12-month chart, right? But on the 12-month, on the yearly chart, we're going to have a new open for the year, right? So think about it. The market is going to open up somewhere. Let's just get the market closed right here for New Year's. We're going to have possibly, right? Obviously, it's not guaranteed. We're going to possibly have some sort of rally. Same exact concept I talked about on the 4 hour time frame on dollar yen. Possibly some sort of rally, and I think we're going to hit this this yearly fair value gap, which is going to be last year's low. So January's low of 2025. That price point is going to be 74K. So for me, I would not be shocked if we get a little bit of a relief rally and then possibly drop lower into 74K and then possibly hit to new highs. Because again, we're still kind of overall bullish structure. Now this could go a little bit lower down to like the 60Ks, etc. And then from there, kind of see, do we get any strong bullish reaction to take out new highs? For me, the way I trade BTC personally is more of like, long-term plays. So I've already been buying dips, but I'm waiting to see if we can get below 74K, possibly into this like whole region to like really start to load up a little bit more buys. for the long term. But I'm not sizing up anything crazy until we get a little bit lower, personally. What pair is this? So Trailer Z, I don't know, I think I saw this one a little bit too late. So I talked about dollar yen, which is it's a currency pair. And then I talked about ES and NQ. That's everything that I covered so far. Let me just go back here. The way that I have my charts, typically I'm gonna have the 1 hour and the 4 hour every single morning. And I'm gonna look for, hey, can I anticipate the next 4 hour direction? Now, to be honest, I didn't really catch the ES longs because again, for me personally, I don't want to, well, to be fair, I wasn't even awake for this, 6 o'clock. Cause I was up a little bit for that dollar yen. Was a 4 hour EVP and NQ? Oh, yeah, I just answered the question. Yeah, exactly. You could, that's what I'm saying. So like, let's just say, for example, this is the one thing that I have shifted in my trading. Especially if you guys have been with me for any length of time. You know, I like to look for these big picture plays. But one thing I've been doing recently is doing a lot more intraday scalps. Because this, you could just scalp this level. If you go to a 1 hour, for example, and you see there's a fair value gap in here, you could just scalp this move. This is like this could go up and then tank, right? Like following the weekly EVP. Now, I personally don't like scalping all the time, but again, with the EVP model, you can scalp that, and especially because you can look for a little bit tighter of a stop loss. Like let's say you go down to the 5 minutes, see if there's any other supporting fair value gaps. Not really, but yeah, 30-minute time frame. Yeah, so like regardless, if you just even if you just place the stop loss here, you don't even have to place it below candle bar two. You could use it like below the opening price because you really don't want to see this fair value gap. This is your support level. You don't want to see it trade too far down. You can take scalps like this all day long. Like imagine a little bit of a scalp like this long. Even if you just put stop loss here, even if it doesn't make new highs, just this little bit of a reaction can get you a 1 hour. So I've been incorporating scalps into my overall plays because I realized like if you can add frequency, these little trades do add up over time. As long as they're profitable and you have a positive expectancy, then yeah. Now, again, I would prefer like big picture plays because big picture plays have bigger risk to reward. And when you're with higher time frame trend, you get way bigger risk to reward, and you also have higher win rate typically, right? Like look at that goal that we talked about last week, right? When we had that 4 hour EVP. Like if you get an entry like this, and because the daily time frame is bullish to like all the way up here, and you can time a 5 minute entry down there, you can easily and look, imagine that's not even including if you held this position, right? You get a 5 minute entry somewhere in here, man. Like that 30 minute that we talked about last week on the stream, right? Where I said, hey, we should not go below this candle bar's low, right? Imagine you get an entry, like let's say assume you get an entry something like this. The higher time frame trend, just hitting to that highly liquid that liquidity pool over here, that daily higher high, just that alone was 4R. 4R in 1 day. And it's not even like assuming you really like try to look for a 5 minute entry. Again, I think sometimes people try to optimize entry a little bit too much, but yeah. And imagine you caught this overall swing. This leaves you at 11.47 risk reward. You know, now obviously these moves aren't like going to be typical. You want to aim for at least, in my personal opinion, I think the sweet spot is 3 to 4R. Because if you're trying to hit 10R, you're going to give up a lot of floating profit over time. But yeah. Yeah, so let me see. I think just want to make sure I know what I'm saying. GBP, yeah, let's see. So I'll be honest, I'm not really sure what, and well, I wanted to see actually, well, I want to see this fair value gap get hit first to open up the week. I was waiting to see this happen first, but we rallied first. I don't really like that, to be honest, because now if we're gonna rip, we're probably gonna rip above that high. I want to see us drop first, and then this was going to be interesting to me. But now, the fact that we kind of like we might have like a little bit of a choppy price action where DXY, for example, rallies up into here, which would then lead Euro to drop down in here. But I would wait for some sort of bearish confirmation above this high first. Because we took out the Friday highs, right? But we're still inside of bullish structure. This is where most people get it wrong. So number one, when you look at, I know I talk about GU, but I'm just going to talk about EU because I think EU is a little bit cleaner. when the people will see this rejection and automatically assume that this is gonna be a run on stops because we took out Friday highs. But look at the current market structure on the 4 hour. We had a 4 hour EDP. I mean, guys, like this stuff like repeats itself. You can, that's what I'm saying. You can build out a full model group, right? Go down to the 1 hour, go down to the 15-minute time frame. It actually did not hit that fair value there. So if you waited for that fill, you probably would have missed it. But nonetheless, I don't like shorting this because right now there's, even though there's a daily fair value gap, the 4 hour structure is still bullish. And I'm gonna make a full video on YouTube this coming week on market structure. Because I don't want to short this right now when I'm inside of a bullish flag. Now, what changes? Well, let's just say the market has like an inside bar, meaning this candle's like a wick, a doji, in between this candle range. Then maybe the market does this, and then we have a huge 4 hour bearish EDP, right? Now it's giving like multiple rejections at the highs, and then you could kind of consider it. But typically, I don't like fading bullish market structure, especially when that bullish market structure has what is known as a protected low. So I call it anchor points, but I know most people online call it a protected swing. Protected swing is simply a liquidity pool that has been swept, and then there's an impulse push higher. So this swing low is now called a protected low. When you try to short against a protected low like this, it's just lower probability. It's not a high resistance liquidity run signature, especially because right now the overall market is kind of reacting at this fair value gap, and we could easily make a new high because swing low, swing high, this could be a potential higher low, and then this could ultimately push to new highs. But going, I know some, I don't know about GU, but GU is essentially the same thing. Like right now on the daily time frame, we are kind of creating a little bit of like, we're still inside of a bullish market structure. Um, I will say this, pound is definitely a little bit weaker, relatively speaking, to the euro. But for me personally, again, I don't see a trade that fits my personal criteria. Does not mean that you don't see something based off your criteria, right? And I always preface this because like the way I trade, at the end of the day, is the way I trade. Someone else can trade a different style and they could see a short. I personally don't see a short right now on this, or at least a short that I would be comfortable taking. Yeah, Mr. Euro said I could see that because there was no fill. But the thing is that sometimes like here's a little bit of a cheat code. Sometimes what you could do is you could just mark out the opening price of the prior bar like this, and that could just kind of be your entry. Because think about it, it's the same concept as an order block, right? So that opening price is essentially the entry trigger that can send the price higher. So what you can do is when the market does drop down, actually drop down into this little bit of a 30-minute fair value gap. So that is, oh no, I'm sorry, that's actually before. I think that candle closed. Oh, no, no, no. Oh, yeah. So this candle closed at 1 o'clock. No, I'm sorry, closed at 5. The next candle opened at 5. Got that. Yeah, so this candle came in at 5:30. There was a 30-minute fair value gap. So this could have been a potential entry. Stop loss below candle bar 2. Now, you don't have to put the stop loss below candle bar 2, but if you're a beginner, you like I usually advise beginners to be a little bit more conservative. You can obviously optimize your risk to reward on this type of trade further, but yeah. Well, someone who's like a beginner, I usually do not advise it right away. Like you want to optimize. You don't want to try to optimize in the beginning before getting familiar with the setup. In terms of the private mentorship, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it to be honest, because as some of you guys know, this year has been I've been fairly I picked on a little bit more responsibility, trying to do other things outside of trading, and side tangent, nothing will ever be trading, is what I've come to realize in terms of ROI and in terms of ROI and in terms of work effort, nothing I think will ever be trading. There's pros and cons to everything, but there's a big benefit to being able to learn how to trade by and forth. But going into the mentorship question, honestly, I'm not sure yet going into simply because I want to see what's going to happen. Obviously, to the back end of this year to focus on other things as well, and then to obviously focus on my own trading. But we'll see. If anything changes, I will post it in the Twitter. Do you see BTC short term long? Yeah, short. No, no. Okay, short term. I'm not sure to be honest. Let's see the daily time frame. Let's see the new week. No, because it's also a bearish week. You know what it is? It's one of those things that there's a bearish weekly, but we are sitting at support, right? We're sitting at this prior consolidation. So do I want to like sell this or do I want to long this? Not really. I would lean more towards, I'll say this, if you're gonna look for longs, you want to look for longs if we take out last week's low. Because then we would have fulfilled the EVP candle bars low. And if you see a bullish structure off after this low gets taken out, then you could target these highs because there's a fair value gap on the weekly time frame to the upside. It has not been traded to yet. So that's kind of like how I frame trade. But again, I try not to anticipate too much. I just wait to see if this happens. Like if the market takes out this low, right, the prior week low, and let's just say we get a something like this. Let's just say the market, boom, I know maybe we have like a 4 hour like EVP, we have like some sort of inverse fair value gap, and then we come back and then we have bullish market structure after this happens. Then all I'm doing is trying to get in on higher highs and higher lows up to this fair value gap. You know, but right now trying to long, I think is a little bit risky. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Being a little bit sick. What about gold? I think gold is pretty bullish overall. I would not fade this to be honest. If we do fit form a fair value gap, then the thing is this, man. I think if we hold this fair value gap in here, I would stick to this narrative of bullish. These are situations where I don't like to trade, where the market's too high up in premium, where I don't want to. I'd say confidence wise, I don't like buying up here, even though the market is overall bullish. Even though the market is obviously bullish, right? It's a psychological thing, right? I just can't keep buying high. But I also don't want to short this because it's like, look at the daily time frame and look at the weekly time frame. Like, do you want to fade something like this? We are at prior highs, but again, it's just one of those things that's a little bit more difficult to fade because we could easily rip through new highs. So do I want to short this? No. Do I want to long this? Me personally, I just have a hard time trying to long something that's this up in premium. It's a psychological thing. But most people will tell you just keep trading the trend until the trend reverses. Let me see something. Market open. Yes, the market's going to open up in 5 minutes. So I'm going to again just reiterate what I was talking about. I'm still looking for the. I'm going to stick with a bearish narrative only because we have the weekly EVP candle low. So the weekly EVP candle low is going to be right here, right? Um, Now again, obviously, like I talked about with dollar yen, just because I'm short bias is not the end of blindly short. I want to see some sort of bearish market structure. Right now, every single 4 hour candle is closing bullish. Got a 4 hour EVP. We're creating bullish imbalances. So these levels on the run up, I'm going to wait for something to form first. That gives me indication. Now this could take a little while. This could happen today. This could happen tomorrow, etc. But yeah, like in terms of like shorting, like on the push up, I don't do that. Just to clarify. Um, and answer the last few questions here. Okay, go. Let's see, go up 330. The thing is this, like it already came into this fair value, got pushed to new highs, and we're above Asian range high. Plus, look at this. In Asia, we just straight up push higher. This is where you guys have to understand market context. Like the market is not going to just keep pushing up forever. And that's why the thing is this, as you go up higher and higher and higher, even though we're obviously in bullish market structure, right? Like, do you want to continue to find something that's near highs? And not only that, but think about it logically. From Asia all the way to London, we had no pullbacks. The high again, you could maybe like again, I actually took a little bit of scalp trade on my top step accounts here and just took a little bit of bounce here on the first test. The thing is, do I want to hold for this high? It's just tough, man, because we rallied up all the way to Asia. We had no significant pullback. So the higher you get up into a premium, the more risky it is to look for continuation. Right. And then that's what happens. Then you end up like having something like this where the market doesn't really hold that well. And to be fair, like once like if you bought like somewhere here and you see like rejections like this, like you see multiple whips and you see a swing high form at the above Asia range, you have to be a little bit cautious in those situations. It does offer like, it did offer like one more little bit of a rally, but then again, you're above Asia range high, and that's why we're having that little bit of a retracement. Can you give an update on the restaurant when you will hold that? Yeah, so it was actually going pretty well. I'll be honest, it's not as much work now as it was in the beginning. Like before, it was obviously I was there a lot more often with my brother. And now everything is like, now we have employees, we have about like three that just kind of interchange. And yeah, and it's been going smooth. The only thing we have to do is just obviously keep track of certain things on the day to day. But it's been a lot more past for sure. But it's like the thing is this, that's what I realized is like over time, one thing I've realized about like the food business is like the margins are very, very low. It's one of those businesses that is like, if you are the owner and you work there, it's family owned, and like you don't really hire, maybe you'll hire like one employee, etc. It's one of those types of businesses where like you'll make more money if you are kind of like if you as an owner are working there because you retain more money. But if you're outsourcing and you're just getting employees and you're not really working there, the margins are pretty thin. And that's what I mean. Like I've been in different multiple businesses. I think trading by far has the best ROI, especially with prop firms, by far. Because like before, again, I've been trading for 8 years. When I first started, I had to fund accounts. I would always put in $1,000 to $2,000 in my own account and try to go for like a flip or try to build it up slowly. Nowadays, dude, $1,000, $2,000, you will make way more money because of prop firms. So if you know how to trade, you can eat, especially with futures firms. And I'm gonna probably schedule a live about prop firms sometime this week, maybe Wednesday or Friday. But one thing I've noticed, guys, futures props is way better than CFDs. It's not even comparable anymore. Back then, I think CFDs were definitely better because so much has changed in the past 6 months. But I'll make a separate stream for that. Float broke. Where can I find more on the EPP specific good videos? Just check out my main channel. My main channel, let me pull it up here. Cause this is just me. This is just like my where is it? Check out this channel. Right, you can go through these videos. I just pinned them like on the main page, so they can go from bar system, and then you can just kind of go through them. But this is the main channel that I pretty much post all the content. This channel is specifically just for live streams. But yeah, drinks is where the margins are. Yeah, exactly. Like exactly. So like that type of like store that we have, it's typically going to be primarily based off coffee drinks. But we still have to like get like a whole, yeah, it's just like things that we're trying to build out over there. But again, no better ROI than trading for sure. When will the candlesticks video be posted, bro? Honestly, it's gonna be either this probably gonna be this weekend or the following. The only reason why I haven't posted it yet is because I want to post a market structure video first. Because you need to understand market structure to understand candlesticks. Because again, like candlesticks are just candlesticks, right? The narrative is just a narrative, but you want to trade proper candlesticks formations within proper market structure. If you don't understand market structure, then you're not going to be in a good situation to really execute well on EVPs and other candlesticks formation as well. Like for me, again, EVP is just the beginning, but I have a lot more inside of the arsenal that I want to kind of like bring to you guys as well, but I don't want to overwhelm people. Because I think at the end of the day, you could just be profitable just trading EVPs, to be honest. You don't need anything else. You really don't. But again, sometimes we want more opportunities and you want to have more of a playbook. So like with the other candlesticks structure, you guys will see like the other setups I typically will trade as well. 1 hour EPP on EU is not good enough to short. This will be the final thing I'm gonna. But look, again, man, no, because like this is the thing. This EVP is going against 4 hour flow. So if you go to the higher time frame, this is bullish structure, right? This is a bullish impulse, like now on the 1 hour too. we're also sitting at this fair value gap. So it's risky. Doesn't mean it can't work, but these are, I don't short these at all. Like this type of EVP play, I would not short. Because I'm going against, think about it, right? Think about like you swimming in a river. If the current of the river is going this way and you're trying to swim that way, you're going to essentially have a very difficult time to get past that current, right? If I'm trying to short and the current is this way, it, over time, you're going to get stopped out more often. Even if this one were to work, it doesn't matter to me because I'm not thinking about that one trade that worked. Trust me, I've shorted so many of these types of trades and I just get smoked because we're at a fair value gap on the 1 hour. We're inside a 4 hour bullish structure, and we have not even taken out the higher high of this overall bullish leg, right? So we have the swing low, swing high. We never took out that higher high just yet. And look at how this 1 hour candle is forming right now. Like I would just not be comfortable shorting something like this. Because I know some people will see this and they're like, okay, well, I'm gonna short this tight risk. If you want to take that risk, sure, because the risk to reward makes sense. But like, do I really want to get in front of this and short this? Probably not. Yeah, exactly, Lucas. Time frame alignment is fundamental for applying EVP, 100%. Time frame, to be fair, I think it's for any strategy as well. Because the thing is this, EVP is just one strategy, but the reality is like any system or strategy, if you understand market structure and you understand time frame alignment, meaning, hey, if the daily is bullish, the 4 hours is bullish, and I see a 1 hour, bro, it could be a 1 hour EVP, it could be a 1 hour inverse fair value gap, could be a 1 hour order block, could be a 1 hour fair value gap, could be a 1 hour EMA, like it does not matter what the entry criteria is. If you understand the 4 hour direction, the daily direction, and those align, especially if it aligns with the weekly direction, you're gonna have a massive trade. But yeah, guys. Yeah, it's 9:35 now. I gotta get going. Appreciate you guys for hopping on. I'm gonna try to do live streams. I'm gonna try to do them every single day, but I can't promise it because sometimes in the morning I have other things I have to get to. I know tomorrow I won't be able to because tomorrow I have to go pick up something, and then I'll probably do another one on Wednesday. And I do want to do one specifically on futures firms. I might do that one for the weekend or on Friday. So again, any updates, I'll post them inside of the Telegram. And yeah. Appreciate you guys for hopping on, and I'll see you. So hopefully, you guys all have a great trading day. Again, ES, I'm watching again. I'm still looking for bearishness only because of the weekly EVP low. It's the same exact thing for NQ. This weekly EVP, right? You guys should know the setup by now if you've been watching any of my YouTube videos. Candle bar low is typically going to be the target. You just want to see some sort of confirmation. And then don't try to like rush if you don't see anything super clear. If I see anything and I'm in front of the charts, I'll definitely post it. But yeah, bearishness bias until we get to this potential goal. But appreciate it, guys, and I'll see you guys on Wednesday. I'll be active in the Discord, in the Telegram, so just make sure to have that on as usual. And yeah, see you guys.
This seems to gonna hit my break even.
Stop failed. Stop failed. Stop failed.
Hmm. Don't know what to do here. Hmm. I think just wait until the bar closes, then have some clarity. Without the bar close, can't really do. Mhm. Mhm. This could be good. Could have another leg down. But pushing it very down low, don't feel comfortable. Yep, very much down. I think I don't like pullbacks, so this pullback wasn't interested. I was more interested in taking the original and taking the original somehow. But I would have liked to see it close and break out, but it's just very crappy close. I don't know what to do here. Hmm. Sleepy a little bit, didn't sleep after Fajr, so I don't like, I don't want to short into this. I think this is good enough for me to go short. I was watching Umar, but he said that he doesn't feel very confident. But I think it's good enough for me. Maybe the trade's over. Hmm. I could stay another hour, but I don't see a trade. Maybe this could have been shorted. This is such a big bar. Wonder if I can buy this. It doesn't look good, but hmm, I don't like it. I don't want to buy this.
This is brought to you by Willowbrook Capital Partners. You can reach us at 866.
You wouldn't know what to do. It's not bad, but it's way too up too much high. I was here. That could have been the profit. 60, 70 pips. But this, mm, nothing here. Move too much too fast. This is high. But I would like to at least see a 3-bar reversal in order to, or they're engulfing, and neither seems to be coming. Could this be bought? Hmm. Don't like it. Could have entered maybe the color change here. From here to maybe here. Hmm. Wow. Never came back. Hmm. Don't want to force it.